I'm Vera Stewart, and thanks for joining me tonight on the VeryVera Show. You know, people are coming to my website and emailing me at vera@nbc26.tv with all kinds of questions and suggestions. And you know, you're keeping me on my toes. So I'm always looking for ideas and maybe things that you would like to see me prepare on TV. So be sure to check me out on our website and also send me some emails. But tonight I'm doing 3 more recipes. You know, last week we did bacon, and I decided to extend it for one more show. I'm doing a wonderful bacon and crab dip that's very easy to prepare, simple recipe, but it's something that will be just delicious if you've got people coming over. I'm also going to do a bacon fried rice. That's just a great side dish. Again, lots of wonderful fresh ingredients, but a new side dish when you're looking for something. And then finally, a warm bacon slaw. You know, we think of slaw just in the summertime, but slaw is great all year long. So 3 wonderful recipes, and again, using that theme of bacon. So get ready. We're going to get started right away on the bacon crab dip. All right, so I have an 8-ounce square of cream cheese that I softened for just about 20 seconds in the microwave. So it's ready for me to start adding in all of the other ingredients. I've got mayonnaise, and you know, I get teased all the time about my preference to Hellmann's mayonnaise, but I do love it. So I have a 1/2 cup of that. I chopped up 3 scallions that I'm going to add, and I went all the way up into the green part on that as well. Then this is 8 ounces of lump crab meat, and you can purchase this, you know, at the fresh market. It's pasteurized, already prepared, and the can was actually 16 ounces. So I had frozen the other half of this can so that the next time I get ready to make this recipe, the crab meat's already in my freezer, and it works really well when you're using it again in a baked dish. All right, so now let's add to this the juice of 1 lemon. And you know, this is a very easy little simple juicer that I love to use because it's so easy to clean up. You can just separate it and put it in the dishwasher. But I went ahead and got half done, and now the other half. And it has a little piece in the top that holds the seeds, and then a spout where you can pour the juice right out. So this is really gonna add a lot of flavor to this dip. And then finally, and hopefully you learned something on the show last week about cooking bacon. The bacon that I'm using in this recipe, just to keep the mess down, I did in the microwave. So again, that's a very convenient way to cook bacon. You generally, rule of thumb on that is 1 minute per slice. So this is 6 slices of bacon that I went ahead and cut up. The other thing that you don't have to worry about when you're using the microwave for cooking bacon is that the bacon grease really gets soaked up in the paper towels that you use. You know, we all hoard those bacon drippings in our refrigerator, and then we really end up throwing them away when we clean out the refrigerator a couple of times a year. All right, as you can see, that looks really great. Now I'm going to get the pan ready with a little bit of olive oil instead of using pan spray tonight. So I've just got a paper towel, and I'm going to just lightly go over the middle. But this is a tip for you. This ramekin I've been using it for years. It's just great in the oven. But I'm going to kind of play off a seafood look for my theme tonight. So I've got a wonderful oyster dish that I love to use, but I really don't want that to stay in the oven for the entire time. So I'm going to cook it until it's about 10 minutes close to being finished in this pan. Then I'm going to transfer it to the other pan that I'm fine with it staying in the oven for about 10 minutes. So you'll get to see that process as well. So again, just wonderful fresh ingredients. I'm not going to top it with the breadcrumbs because I'm going to do that when I put it in the other pan. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes, and it'll be ready to serve. So come back with us after the break. I'm going to get started on the bacon fried rice. Okay, welcome back, and we are all about bacon tonight on the VeryVera show. And while we were on the break, I took my chopped up bacon. I had about 6 slices of bacon that I'd already cut up, put it in the pan, and just let it get, as you can see right now, it's nice and crisp. And a point that I made on the last show about cooking bacon is that you should start with a cold skillet. Put the bacon in that sat out long enough for it to kind of get a gloss to it, and then it'll cook up a lot better if you do it that way. So this is ready to go. This is our pan-fried bacon stir fry, and I'm going to add 3 scallions to that and let that cook around. And I've got this on about a medium heat. And this is a wonderful dish that's just great with any pork, with chicken. It can really kind of be a side dish with any meal. And I love rice as a side dish. And speaking of rice, this is rice that I cooked in the microwave. And that's another use of my microwave. You know, I think we all wonder sometimes what in the world we do with the microwave. But the bagged rice that you cook in the microwave is really something that I enjoy. This is the basmati rice that just has a little bit of a different texture to it that I really love, especially for a stir fry. So as you can see, this is starting to get some color to it. And since the rice is cooked, all we're really doing at this point is getting it heated through. And that rice will start sticking to this pan, so you really, that's the whole point of the fact that you're stir frying, is that you want to keep it moving in the pan. All right. So I'm going to take it off the heat for just a minute. And I've got fresh ginger that I grated, a teaspoon. I'm going to add some sesame oil, and I'm going to beat 3 large eggs. And those are going to be added just long enough to get the eggs set. And you know, this is always, even as a child, it was one of my favorite dishes. If we did Chinese takeout, I loved the fried rice. It was just my favorite. And you can add other things to this. Bacon, well, we've got the bacon, but you can do ham or grilled chicken. So you could actually make this into a main dish. All right, so let's add the ginger. And fresh ginger is so easy, and you can buy just enough, just a small piece if you don't need very much, but it will also keep in the refrigerator. Then I've got a teaspoon of sesame oil, and sesame oil, a little bit goes quite a long way, so you want to make sure you don't over measure that. Okay, so let's mix that through. And now we're ready to add the eggs. So I'm just going to pour the eggs in, and we're going to keep stirring this around until the eggs are set. So again, just make sure you keep stirring. And if you've got a easy pan that doesn't stick, I would also recommend that, but here again, I love to cook in my cast iron skillet, and the more you cook in it, the better it gets. All right, so as you can see, the eggs are starting to cook up, and this is a dish that you can make ahead. Just don't let it get all the way cooked through, and at the last minute, right before you're ready to serve, you can heat that through again on top of the stove, or you can zap it in the microwave. So since we're going to serve this a little bit later, I'm going to stop on this process right now, turn this off, and turn it right back up again right before it's time to serve. But oh, it's just got a great aroma. So come back with us after the break. I'm going to get started on that warm bacon slaw. Okay, I'm getting excited because game day is coming up, and if you've been lucky enough to be invited to someone's home to watch the game, don't forget to take a host or hostess gift. You know, maybe a bottle of wine, flowers, something fun that you can eat while you're watching the game. That's always appreciated and very thoughtful. You want to remember that. Once you get there, kind of look around in the room and see where people are sitting. You certainly don't want to block the TV when you're going into someone's house, especially if it's the big game. So I see a seat I'm going to take right here, and gosh, it looks so nice. Always remember that when you're drinking at an event, you want to make sure that you have a coaster under your drink. If snacks have been provided, and I see it looks like some great pimento cheese and crackers, always use a napkin. Make sure you don't spill anything on yourself or the furniture, for heaven's sakes. Don't put your feet up on the table unless you see other people doing that. But remember, no matter what you do, don't you dare throw that ball in the house. Welcome back, and it's another wonderful show tonight all about bacon, and I hope you enjoyed last week's show with the things that I did from a canopy all the way down to a dessert. And tonight we've done a wonderful crab and bacon dip that actually just came out of the oven, and as I had mentioned to you, there was a dish that I really wanted to serve it in that I wasn't comfortable leaving in the oven for the entire 30 minutes. So while we were on the break, that came out of the oven. I was able to transfer it to the special dish that I would like to serve from, and now I'm going to put it back in the oven for those last 10 minutes. We'll get to try that in our last segment today. But now I'm ready to do the warm bacon slaw. And you know, I don't know about you, I'm this way kind of about chicken salad and potato salad. I love to try everybody's different versions of those dishes. And so this is a wonderful dish that uses red onion. You know, so many of my recipes call for scallions or Vidalia onions, but you really want that onion to pop in this recipe. So while we were away, I got the bacon, and I chose really thick bacon that I picked up at Fresh Market to do. And again, the tip there is that you should start with a cold pan. I got the bacon cooked nice and crisp, then I left the bacon drippings in the pan so that we could get these red onions sauteed. So this is about a half of a red onion. And again, it makes it nice when you can use the same pan that you cook the bacon in to get started on the rest of the recipe. All right, so those are cooking down really nicely. The pan was nice and hot when I added this, so we'll just keep going. And now to this, I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of cider vinegar that I've mixed with 1/4 of a cup of water. This is when it's really starting to smell like that wonderful marinated slaw that you've had before. Hopefully this was a little bit different and you'll want to try this recipe. And again, my recipes are available at NBC26.tv, or you can email me directly at vera@NBC26.tv. All right, next ingredient is brown sugar. And I love to point out that when you're only using a little bit of an ingredient, always try to use the best ingredients. This is that wonderful brown sugar that's really dark and good, and I love to use it in frostings and when I'm doing something like this. All right, last ingredient, celery seed. So we'll get that mixed in, and I actually put celery seed in my potato salad as well. So this is just a really great side dish, wonderful with most anything, and is great any time of year. Don't forget slaw in the wintertime. All right, so now I've cut up 6 cups of cabbage. I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to start adding the cabbage to this. And this basically just gets stirred up, and like any green that's getting put in with hot liquid, it's going to start cooking down. But all we really want to do is just get the warmth all the way through. So you're not really cooking the cabbage. Again, this is slaw, but just having all of these wonderful ingredients mixed in with that great crispness of the slaw. And since I'm using red onions, I did decide to use a green cabbage. But this is going to be really great. So all I'm really trying to do at this point is just to get all of the wonderful juices and the bacon drippings and the sauteed vegetables mixed in. And then, as you saw, I turned the heat off. And then the last thing we're going to do, the bacon was cooked earlier, and I want to go ahead while that's cooking and get this cut so that I've got all of that to sprinkle on the top when I put it in the bowl. So we're well on our way to finalizing 3 great bacon recipes that I hope you'll try soon. So come with me, back with me, come join me after the break, and we're going to show you how to display all 3 of these dishes and how to do a wonderful bacon cut that the children will love. It'll be great for a salad. Hey, welcome back, and I hope you've enjoyed these last 2 shows that we've done on bacon. I've just had a great time introducing you to ways to use it other than the breakfast table. You know, we've grown up thinking that bacon was the first thing you put in your mouth in the mornings, but hopefully you've seen that you can always enjoy it till the very last bite at night with the dessert. So as we've gone through this process, I've shown you things from canopies all the way to desserts. And again, if you missed last week's show, just be sure to look at NBC26.tv, the VeryVera show, and the recipes are always posted there. If you ever have any questions about what I do on the show, I hope you'll email me directly at vera@NBC26.tv. Okay, we've got a lot to do and had a lot of fun getting this done today, but I wanted to go ahead and start plating things up. So we were able to get the slaw finished, and I've put it in a beautiful pottery bowl, and it's just really, the hot dressing on it just really made this really nice. I added a little bit of salt and pepper, and now the final garnish is the bacon that we cooked earlier, that we cooked all the vegetables and stuff in. I'm going to sprinkle that on top, and you can either toss it or leave it just like that. That's why it's always nice to be the first person in line when you go through a buffet. But this looks really great, and these are my vintage salad tongs that I just really think look cool with this. All right, then the crab dip, as I showed you earlier, I was able to transfer it to the dish that I wanted to serve it from. So I'm using that with another piece of beautiful Augusta State, Georgia Regents University Art Department does the pottery, and I always go in the fall and in the spring to buy from the students over there. So this happens to be a bowl that I bought from a student. I love to use my pottery. And then the fried rice, since I've kind of gone with more or less of a theme here with the pottery and that sort of thing, I'm going to put it on a fish platter, and you can see the egg just cooked up. And this is something, again, that you just wait and heat up at the very last minute. And you can garnish this platter with other things too, maybe some carrot sticks or something that has a little bit of color, but it looks really nice on this platter. I like to leave the head of the fish showing, and then I've got a beautiful shell spoon that I'm going to use with that. All right. I was able, a few sessions ago, I showed you how to make a Parmesan crisp on one of the recent shows. And so I had the idea, I actually kind of got it from a commercial I saw on TV for a bacon maker that you make into a cup like this. And I thought, I can do this myself. So I took a ramekin and you cover it with paper towel. And then you gradually start wrapping the bacon around it. And as you do that, you want to make sure you've pieced it over so that there are no edges showing. So you wrap the bacon around, then you cover that with paper towel and put the matching ramekin or bowl over that. Put it in the microwave, again, for a minute per slice. And you might want to check it halfway through because sometimes the microwave might be cooking that a little fast. So I looked at it halfway through, put it back in, took the top cover off so that the bacon could start to get nice and crisp. And then you take it out. Once it's cool enough to touch, that's when you try to gently remove that paper towel from it. And what you end up with is a really cute little way that you can serve many different things. My first thought always goes to the children, and I'm thinking I could fill this up with scrambled eggs, or even better, I could fill it up with pancakes and pour the syrup over it. Wouldn't that be fun if you had a bunch of kids having a spend the night party? That would be a wonderful breakfast for the next day. But what I'm going to do with this is make it into the traditional wedge salad, the bacon, the tomato, and the iceberg lettuce, and just sprinkle the tomato on top. So instead of having a wedge, your bacon bowl becomes the wedge. And this will just be drizzled with the dressing, and you could kind of take it over the plate. In fact, I might just try that and see what that looks like. Just take the dressing and get a little crazy with it. Top that with some Parmesan cheese, and you've got a wonderful presentation for a salad. Just love that. And then finally, I did last week a truffle that was made with peanuts, peanut butter, and chocolate. And several of the people that watched the show, and I love to get the comments, said that it was a little bit bitter. The truffle was bitter. You know, cocoa on the outside doesn't have any sweetness. So I came up with the idea of taking some of them and rolling them into the powdered sugar. And then I went one step further with that. I took what we did before we dipped it in the chocolate, because that's really the sweet and savory. And I just rolled that directly in the powdered sugar. So that is a great way to do some with chocolate and some without. And it also makes a lot more interest to the serving dish that you're using. And I could actually eat this whole thing. I just love this dish. So we've got dessert, we've got an appetizer, we have a side dish, we have a wonderful salad. I hope that you will continue to watch, and I love, again, the comments that you make. Speak to me when you see me in the grocery store. But remember, no matter what you do it in good taste, and I hope you'll be back with me next Saturday at 7 for the VeryVera Show.